All right, welcome back to Choice 2017 here on KTN News, coming to you live from the White Rhino Hotel in Nyeri County with my panel this evening. Let me get right into it. And as far as the politics of this county are concerned, and in case you missed it, as we were talking about the politics here earlier on, out of the 30 MCAs during the party primaries for the Jubilee Party, 28 of them lost their tickets, rather to be willing, or rather to be able, I beg your pardon, to run in the August 8th general elections. Out of the 6 constituencies, only 1 member of parliament was able to retain the ticket. The governor, senator, woman rep as well lost the Jubilee ticket. So let's begin with Patrick Cairo, who is seeking, isn't a gubernatorial aspirant on a DP, the only non-Jubilee or former Jubilee, as we've seen some move on the panel this evening. Why DP?
A Democratic Party has a rich history in the multi-party politics of Kenya, being the second oldest political party in this country, and being also the party which delivered the 3rd head of state of the Republic of Kenya. We have endorsed President Uhuru Kenyatta as our presidential candidate. That was about 2 weeks ago in Nairobi. But when I come into the context of Nyeri, I look at Nyeri as a Uhuru Kenyatta stronghold and not a Jubilee stronghold. And I speak in that manner out of experience. In 2013, I was a running mate, and we were with the TNA ticket at that time, and we still lost to the late Governor Gachagua, who was running with the GNU. So when you look at the dynamics of Nyeri County, I believe it is an open field, and the people of Nyeri are very open-minded, and they believe that they elect leaders based on the person and exactly what the policies have been fronted to them. So Democratic Party is definitely solid, good policies. Actually, even most of what you hear as the Vision 2030 was the manifesto of Democratic Party in 1992 and 1997.
All right.
Yes.
Priscilla, what you're calling yourself an independent Jubilee. You've chosen to go independent because you lost during the party primaries.
Not because I lost. I want to explain that. There were a lot of irregularities in the Jubilee nominations. We all had a lot of expectations with the Jubilee nomination, especially when the party wanted to use IEBC. Remember, the first option for Jubilee was that IEBC would run our nominations. And then I think subsequently IEBC was settling down, we had new commissioners, so it was not possible for IEBC to do that. But if you look at the amount of money that IEBC has to run a nomination, which is something about 20 billion, and the money that candidates paid in Jubilee, which is less than 1 billion, a lot of the constraints are understandable. But what we saw here in Nyeri, we have now people who are confessing that I cast my ballot in the nomination 18 times, 10 times, 6 times.
So the party you still want to connect and be linked to bungled this election. So why do you still want to link yourself with?
The party itself, from a good standpoint, they meant to give us a good nomination. But then there were constraints, and there was advantage taken at the local level. The reason why I remain an independent member, but very closely aligned to Jubilee, is because of the agenda of Jubilee, the agenda of the president. Just today, look at the things he spoke about here in Nyeri. The cancer center is going to come here. The dual carriageway from Kenol up down to Nyeri and then going on to Isiolo. The coffee farmers, the colonial villages, everything that we want to do here in Nyeri is exactly what the president is outlining.
But there are those who would argue, Priscilla, and I'm sorry to cut you short, there are those who would argue it would be political suicide for you to ditch Jubilee and not support the president and seek to be elected, and that is what this is about. Because if then you're saying the party bungled the elections, he's the head of that party, why not completely delink yourself? Because on one hand, you cannot say his policies and all these things he's talking about are good, and on the other hand, say when it comes to implementation, some things are bungled, but I believe in these policies, things will work out okay.
I can explain that to you because the president is the party leader, but he is also the president of the Republic of Kenya. So he is a Jubilee member. He meant to give the country a good nomination. And from his standpoint, at which he allowed the nominations to go on, he stood on the right side. But then there is, I mean, he didn't ask anybody to go and vote 18 times. But there are people who voted 18 times. So there is county. So we don't agree, I personally don't agree with the loss because then there were many irregularities. For the seat of the women rep, from early morning, the ballots that were going on for governor would be like 16 books, and there would be 12 books, there would be 9 books for the seat of the women rep. So from early morning, you could tell that there is something wrong.
And you sought recourse on these discrepancies?
Yes, we sought recourse on these discrepancies, but then the time also between when you could pursue appeals and when you could be an independent candidate was very short. But here in Nyeri, let's come back to Nyeri here. Nyeri has never elected parties. Nyeri is leader by leader. Every leader is vetted alone, even those in Jubilee. It is a good thing that you have a Jubilee ticket, but you will still have to sell your manifesto, you have to sell your track record, you have to sell yourself here. So for me, I am independent, but a lot of the things that I want to do are still within Jubilee. I get elected as a women rep of Nyeri, I support the Jubilee agenda.
All right.
I am only independent in the sense that the Jubilee cannot give 2 people the same ticket. They can only give 1 person a ticket.
You have 2 candidates that insist they did not lose. What do you make of a process you are involved in and won?
Mine was completely above board. In Nyeri town constituency, we actually did not have an appeal. All the people who were running for Jubilee in Nyeri town, nobody made it. It's actually one of the places where we did not have an appeal. The results were announced and everybody accepted. And I was running against an incumbent who had been in office for 10 years. And we had a turnout of close to 50%, 50-something% of the registered voters here. And I got 48% of those votes. Nobody appealed. So
what do you
not
make of these 2 cases, at least?
No, I do not want to...
I
don't want
Why do you want to pass judgment on us? Let him speak for himself and we'll speak for
Let me
ourselves.
tell you, a good question.
I'll speak for myself.
Yes, you
Let me tell you.
Let him look for his own
Let me
votes.
tell you
Yeah.
the problem I have when people say that the Jubilee nominations were not run properly. First and foremost, we have the argument that it's okay, I can run on another party anyway. So the first question becomes, why did you run in Jubilee in the first place? Then the second question becomes, Nyeri doesn't elect parties. Again, why did you actually engage in the Jubilee elections? And for me, because when you're fighting Jubilee, you're fighting me as a candidate of Jubilee. Because if I had not gone through those nominations, I would not be a candidate of Jubilee. When you say there's something wrong with our party, you're attacking candidates like myself. And you're saying that the process that gave me the mandate to be the nominee of Nyeri was wrong. I'm going to have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because then you're trying to discredit my candidacy, you're trying to discredit my party, you're trying to discredit a system, a political system that you've been part of. Remember, a lot of our incumbents, a lot of us were coming from outside. In fact, we were the ones who were scared about the elections being manipulated against us.
Yeah.
So there was
because
a risk.
usually, there's always a risk.
So how come there's no risk now that you've won?
There's always a risk.
There was no risk when you win.
No. Let me make this point. In fact, part of my team is here. They tell you, I told them, I lose, we're done.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm
So
concerned,
are you not
The risk
accepting
of
defeat?
manipulation is one way.
Yeah.
because this is a situation. The problem I have is when you're an incumbent, and because you lost, it was manipulated.
Okay.
I have not had.
Let's bring
let me tell
that
you,
to
I have
yes.
the aspirants, people who are out there who lost. I do not have them. I do not hear them having the same conversation. So I feel as if it is a fight about I should not have lost.
All right. Is it a fight?
And let me tell you,
And let him pick
my
please,
final point.
Ngunjiri.
Everybody who is in office removed somebody else.
Okay.
Indeed.
All right.
No, not true for all the seats.
No. I'm saying, everybody who is in office, whether you are anybody elected in
Some seats
2013,
When you got in.
2013,
Sophia.
All right.
yes.
But that's also not true. Some
It's
seats were
important.
you
It's
in
important.
2013.
It's
Except women
important.
rep and
All right.
And governor and
It's
senator.
important
They count the seats
to
one.
set the record
Okay,
straight.
mine.
Nyogavi, it's important to set the record straight.
That's right.
His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta is not the director of elections
And
for
they are
Jubilee
Jubilee.
Party, number one. And neither is he the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Defense, or any other of those dockets of which he delegates his power to. When those Cabinet Secretaries fail, he comes to Parliament and he interdicts them and he sends them home. Am I correct? When there was corruption in those ministries, he sent how many Cabinet Secretaries home? Not because Uhuru Kenyatta failed, because the people he delegated power to failed. So in this particular case, an instance, within the party, he's the party leader, he's not even the chairman. He delegated power to the people to run an election.
So you don't believe
that election, let me finish.
In Jubilee, but you believe in the president.
That election was mismanaged. Because if you look at my case, for instance, on the Friday, I won. And 4 days later, or 5 days later, on the Wednesday, I come fourth. Surely. I mean, by what gymnastics do you go from first to fourth in 4 days?
So you don't believe in the party anymore, but you believe in the president.
The point I'm making is we are not here to talk about the nominations. The nominations is a process which had its own issues and anomalies. What we're here to discuss is what next. And personally, me, as the incumbent member of parliament for Tetu constituency, defending my seat as an independent candidate and being the Secretary General of the Kenya Alliance of Independent Candidates, what we are saying individually and collectively is that the KAIC and myself and all the people in our alliance support unequivocally the head of state of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. Number two, let me finish. Number two.
Yes, briefly.
We are saying Article 85 of the Constitution guarantees our right to stand as independent candidates. It is not a favor, it is not a request, it is a constitutional right, and we are exercising that right, and we are expanding the democratic space to allow the people to decide.
So the people did not decide in the party primaries according to you?
At least
they did not.
We agree on one
that
thing.
They didn't.
We all agree on one thing here for Nyeri.
Sophie, in the eyes of those who lost, the nominations were not free and fair. In the eyes of us, many who won.
Many won. One in Nyeri County won.
There are so many who won. You know, so that is a problem of independence. That is the issue we have even in Parliament. In the eyes of those who won, the nominations were free and fair. And I think we have had this bad culture in Kenya that nobody accepts that he or she has lost. Look at from independence. Nobody has actually accepted, apart from His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in the year 2002, when he vied as the president of this country, when he lost to Honorable Mwai Kibaki, against advice from a very, very close friend of his. He called, he convened a press conference and he conceded defeat. 10 years later, he became the president of the Republic of Kenya. And I think that should be a lesson to all of us who are in leadership, that it comes to a time when the people decide that you go home, please accept that. Because in future, they might consider you. And we have a perfect example of His Excellency, the president. Secondly, we in Jubilee, the president made a very, very clear plea to all of us. He said in each and every constituency, in each and every ward, there will be so many candidates. And he said, only one who is going to win. The rest, they are not going to lose, because he said, once you accept that you have lost, then the Jubilee family is big. The house is big. They will be accommodated.
Let me just hang on before you do that. Let me just before we lose that point. Let me just rejoin. Let me just set the
coming back.
Before we lose that point.
We're coming back.
Okay.
Zubeida, I want to hear from the people in as far as what is it that led them to kick out, at least in the Jubilee Party primaries, most of their representatives?
Na ndivyo imekuwa katika uchaguzi hasa eneo la kati, kwa sababu inaonekana kwamba mtu akitoboa kuingia mihula miwili, ako na bahati sana. Kwa nini mnafanya hivyo? Nini ambacho mnaangalia mnapochagua kiongozi? Na mnaona kwamba kiongozi ambaye si wa chama cha Jubilee anaweza kuchaguliwa katika eneo hili?
Asante. Asante. Kwa hivyo hapo kuna mambo mbili, kama kiongozi asiye wa Jubilee anaweza shughuli.
Mbona mnamuondoa baada ya mhula mmoja? Huwa mnaangalia nini na mnachagua nini?
Sawa.
Kwa ufupi tafadhali.
Utenda kazi. Na mimi napenda kuungana na Mheshimiwa Kanini Kega na Gujili wa Bugu. Na kila mtu ambaye yuko hapa Nyeri County anaweza kubali, hatujawahi kupata uchaguzi mzuri kama ule tumepatiwa na Jubilee juzi. Na huo ni uamuzi wa wananchi. Na mimi naheshimu sana my brother Githinji, I respect so much my sister Nyokabi, but uamuzi wa wananchi ulitendeka. Nimalizie tu kidogo tu hili swala la watu wa kati hatuwezi kuchagua kiongozi kutoka sehemu zingine. Mimi I can predict from here that after Uhuru Kenyatta finishes his second term, we shall elect someone from outside here, most probably William Ruto. Kwa sababu kama wakati tulichagua Kibaki.
Tunaenda, umejibu swali. Tafadhali wacha tuendelee kwa sababu ya wakati. Tafadhali.
Asante.
Just hold on.
Sababu kina dada tunaona tumewasahau. Pole sana.
Umeuliza tunaangalia nini wakati tunachagua viongozi. Naweza sema it's not necessarily the party. It's not necessarily about the party. It's about, when you're an incumbent, umekuwa na watu sana. Maybe kuna wale mmekosana na wao hapa na pale. So incumbents always have a challenge. It's easier for a new person to get in than an incumbent. Sababu already kuna zile vita, maybe uko nazo ground and all that. But I feel for if someone decided to go as an independent candidate, I'm a Jubilee supporter, but if someone decides to go independent, I believe they have the right to do so.
Mtawapigia kura. Kuna wale wako hapa ambao wameamua kwamba wataenda kama wagombea huru, mtawachagua?
Wale ambao wametoka Jubilee.
Kwa ufupi sana, simama.
Tafadhali.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mimi nataka sikubaliani kabisa. Sikubaliani kabisa na hivyo inasemekana ya kwamba watu wa Nyeri hatuwachagui watu mara mbili. Ukiangalia kama Othaya, rais mstaafu Mwai Kibaki amekuwa huko kwa miaka mingi sana. Ukienda Mukurweini, Kabado amekuwa huko kwa mihula miwili. Ukienda Kieni, Kanini Kega ako huko na atakuwa huko mihula miwili. Ukienda mahali kama Nyeri Town, Murugi amekuwa hapa. So sasa sijui mnaangalia wapi. Maybe mseme tu Tetu ndio tu ambaye imekuwa na mjumbe at least once, lakini huku kwingine sisi hatuoni hiyo shida hiyo kama iko. Another point is
briefly,
kwa ufupi sana, uchaguzi wetu wa chama cha Jubilee, and if these guys believes kutoka moyoni mwao, if they believe in our president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta na wanampenda na wanapenda chama cha Jubilee, kama rais alisema mtu akishidwa kuna kazi nyingi ambazo rais Uhuru Kenyatta atawapatia. Bona kama mnampenda rais, bona muende kinyume na maneno yake.
Haya, ya mwisho huko nyuma tafadhali Zubeda. Maybe aje mbele.
Tupate nyuma, tumewasahau kidogo.
Aje mbele kidogo.
Nani mnataka aongee? Kwa maneno machache sana.
Habari zenu. Mimi kwa majina naitwa Gai, na kuna kitu moja nitasema.
Tafadhali.
Watu wasifikirie venye Uhuru aliongea tuko na yeye na tuko Jubilee, tuko pamoja. Lakini kuna kitu moja nitawaambia, sisi zote kula mtu anarushangaya na mtu anachagua mwenye anataka na mwenye mfajia ka. Kwa hivyo msifanye ati independent hawako on the race. Wako teke. Na kuna kitu moja nitawaambia, kama mtu kama tuseme Nyox alikuwa, msifikirie ati ameanguka, hiyo ni kuteleza. Hata kuja na ndebe. Kwa hivyo hiyo ilikuwa ni marathon. Saa hii tunaenda uchaguzi. Naiguaga hard ready. Veka.
All right, asante sana, asante. Wacha turudi kwa katika nataka tusikie. Yes, briefly, but because you had.
And the reason why is because the statement was made that these nominations were the best. Now, if these nominations were the best, how do you explain the number of people who have moved to independence? And Sophia, this is
because they won't accept defeat. One would argue.
This is on record. This is on record. Let me tell you, Jubilee candidates, nominees for elective position are 1,800. Independent candidates are 4,800 in the country. And let me finish. And if you count the ones who are supporting Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto's presidency, we are talking about over 2,400 candidates, which is more than Jubilee. The point I'm making here is, in my own constituency, in Teto constituency, there are more than 7 independent candidates running for MP. What does that tell you? It means that if there's only one Jubilee nominee mobilizing for the election of the president, he cannot do the same work as 7 other nominees who are going to mobilize also their supporters, because everybody has, if not even supporters, even their own family who will go to the ballot. Am I correct?
All right.
They have their own family and their supporters.
Your point
So
has been
7
made.
people
Yeah.
mobilizing for the president gains. My question is this, Sophia. If the president of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, who we all support, is gaining by all our activities, why is the energy being spent on hang on, let me finish. Hang on,
Please,
let me finish.
No.
Why
Get
is the energy
yes.
of my worthy brothers here in Jubilee being spent on people who are supporting the president instead of being spent on NASA?
Can I answer that question?
Briefly.
I think let us.
We'll come to you. I think let's go to Patrick. He's not
Yes,
spoken for a while.
I think so that we cut this heat, and just to emphasize one point which I made. Nyeri County is an Uhuru Kenyatta stronghold. And the reason why we like myself, I'm in Democratic Party of Kenya, is because I also believe I'm going to push and ensure that he also gets votes from the people who I believe support my candidature under Democratic Party of Kenya. So the more people we have, then the higher chances
of voter turnout
for President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Absolutely.
So I think let us not belabor this issue of this one left here, this one. Actually, it is in the best interest.
You don't see it as hurting the party?
No, it is
helping
not.
the president.
No, it is not. Because at the moment now, we need to get the president re-elected. And that is our common agenda. If that is a common agenda, if this one brings a little from here, this one a little...
50 plus 1 will be delivered by every other party supporting the president.
Let me just clarify that the members of parliament had a meeting with the president. And this discussion has been shared with him.
Absolutely.
And the president has allowed anybody who wants to run independent to run. He has absolutely no problem with that issue. And what we want to see is that in Nyeri County, we want the best leaders. So we are going to the contest in August so that the best leaders can be elected.
Absolutely.
Those with the ticket and those from the independent candidate. But let me just finish something quite small here. And Democratic Party, yes, actually all candidates are in the race for August. And a county like ours, to have strong people with Jubilee, to have strong people on independent is a good thing. If that is happening in Central, that is good for us because it just means we're going to have the best leaders for ourselves going into the National Assembly. But let me also say something for my own case, is that it is true in Nyeri they want to see the work that you have done. I personally have done a lot of work here in Nyeri. I need another conversation with Nyeri people. I need to show them I have built dams, I have built schools, I have brought money for groups. Surely, is this the work you want to send home? This is the work you want to send to Parliament. Because I didn't get the Jubilee ticket, I can't just go. I have to come back to the Nyeri people and we have this conversation again. And there is nothing absolutely wrong with that. So we're not even fighting among ourselves because I don't want us to spend too much energy fighting between colleagues and fighting among friends. Kanini is a friend, Gojiri is a friend.
Indeed.
Spending time here fighting each other is not going to help. What we want to do is get the best leaders for Nyeri.
Let me tell you.
That's what we need
this
to do.
fight began with independence.
Absolutely.
Because you see, the minute you lose an election and then you attack the party that I got elected on, what are you doing? You're attacking me. I made that point at the beginning. Because for as long as but the party, I'm a Jubilee candidate. The only reason, listen, the only reason I am a nominee is because I won the Jubilee nominations. Then you go around and say those nominations that the party messed up the nominations.
But they did.
What are you saying?
It's a point of fact.
So
it's a point of fact.
Let you finish, please.
Let me finish. Because when you say it's a point of fact, I will refute that fact. Because they did not do it. So we have a situation where we are starting a national conversation. It's not a Teto conversation Dongo is having. It's a national conversation.
No, but it affects me locally.
But you see, you're the Secretary General of a national. But then do you guys accept people who don't support the president in independent?
No.
But then how, anyway?
Yeah,
okay.
No.
So now, very clear.
We're not conflicted.
No. But you see, there's a point I need us to emphasize very, very strongly. In 2007, this country went into war, literally, post-election violence. Why? Because President Kibaki won the election, but got very few people on his party in parliament. And then Raila Odinga insisted that there's no way Kibaki would have won the election with fewer members of parliament. So the reason...
But do you believe that argument?
Number two.
Do you believe that argument?
No.
Are you advancing?
Let me tell you.
Raila's argument?
Gedenji, let me make this point. Gedenji, 1,300 people died because of that argument.
But that's Raila's argument.
That's Raila's argument.
But they died.
All right.
No.
Number two.
Number two. Are you guys going to listen to me?
Are you advancing Raila's argument?
You see independent. Now, you see independent. Now, let me tell you the next point. Let me tell you the next point. No. I need to finish. Guys, I need to finish. Discipline. Okay, I know. Discipline. Party.
Hold on.
Sasa, the next point I need to make. The next point I need to make. If you believed in the need to be on the ballot, that you believed that you needed to be on the ballot to get out the votes for the president, you needed to be 7 of you in the ballot to get the presidential vote out on 8th of August. Why go to the primaries? You should all have... No, let me finish. You should all have gone... You should have run on DP, Kanu as an independent.
Very good.
My problem
Very good.
My problem is independents who went to primaries and got out and then are now fighting the party to make relevance to run.
All right,
that's my party.
We're defending our seats.
Gedenji, Priscilla, you are out of order. Let's allow the MP.
As you notice what you just said there.
Political space.
But let me just quickly add
Priscilla,
something. No,
let him speak.
There's a point
I am
we're gonna get away
moderating.
with.
Let him speak.
But let's make the point on
let him
parliament.
speak.
Yeah.
Sophie,
Point on parliament.
the problem I have with the independents is that, one, they are demonizing those of us who got the ticket in the right way.
Not correct.
Because they are saying that the elections were
I
botched.
said in Teto.
I
spoke for Teto.
Wait. We have said time and again, this is the problem of independence. And we are going to get it in a bigger way if we have like 10 or 20 independents in that parliament. You cannot run.
Nice
You cannot.
We'll get 100.
You cannot.
We'll get 100.
You cannot run
We'll
a
be
government.
100.
You cannot run a government, and especially
We'll
in
be
the
100.
Kenyan setup, without a clear majority.
We'll be 100.
You know, in
majority of
this
independents.
Jubilee government has been able to advance its agenda because at least we have had a clear majority. We have the so-called tyranny of numbers, and I'm telling you, if we get majority, like of course the independents like 10 or 20,
100,
they will be like jilted lovers. 200.
100.
They will come there with a lot
but
of
they think they
visions.
support the president.
Yeah, they will come there.
I don't know why
Visions.
is he so defensive?
They will come
Would
up.
they support the president?
They will not believe
What-
anybody.
look-
They don't
look
belong
at
to any
this.
party. They
You
don't
see,
belong to Jubilee. It will depend. Honestly, we have seen.
But let me say something about parliament. On parliament. Allow me on parliament.
Hold on. I am going to take
On
this
parliament
back.
and the
I'm
law.
going to
No,
take
no,
this
before you take it back, I just want to
to
say,
the
I just
people.
want to ask a
Get
question.
Benji, I have 10 minutes.
Why
He's been in
is he so
parliament.
defensive?
He knows the independence. Why?
They're
And we have
supporting
had
the
the
president
independent
and the
members. Why in
president.
Jubilee?
Why are you so defensive?
Well, only one of us can speak
You
at a
just
time.
go and ask Wajiko for your
Lady,
votes.
gentlemen, Zubeda, I want to bring in this to you because
Let Wajiko decide.
as
Don't be afraid of
bring this
Wajiko.
to a close, we have about
Wajiko
just
decided.
5
Don't be
minutes.
afraid of Wajiko. No.
Gedenji, you are being out of order.
Jubilee headquarters
Before we bring
decided.
this to a close, we want to hear from the people. What is it they want? What are the issues foremost important to them as we go to the election that they want addressed by the leaders who they will be electing? Let's take about 2 or 3 comments and then we'll have the closing remarks from our guests.
Let Wajiko decide.
Nakuja tulia. Kwa hivyo mnapowachagua hawa viongozi, wanaelewa shida zenu na ni nini hasa ambacho mnaona kwamba kinastahili kupewa kipaumbele?
Okay, thanks. I'm Eric Makara Waboy. This is an open debate to my brothers and sisters in Jubilee. Oh, volume, okay. To my brothers and sisters in Jubilee. What the competition on the ground is not about the party and the independent. It's about the people, the people's choice and the decision, the people's decision.
Thank you.
And I can tell we had MP from TNA who are fighting government. It depends on the person's heart and the commitment of the president, not the party. We have even from people from URP who are fighting the government. So independent candidates can support the presidency
All right, please.
and start
All right,
with this
one
country.
more, tafadhali, one
Tunataka
more
kuelewa
on the
shida zenu
issues.
ni gani,
Yes.
mnataka ambazo zisuluhiwe. Tumekuwa nyuma sana, wacha sasa niende kwa huyu mzee kidogo, alafu nitarudi. Mngependa shida gani zishughulikiwe?
Thank you very much. Maybe I want to pose a question to the independent candidates, especially Honorable Dungu. And you tell us the future of this country if at all candidates go the independent way. Where do we keep the democratic space of this country?
Oh, good. Very good question.
And we are coming to that. You'll answer.
Kwa majina naitwa John Theuri, mimi nimeshaguliwa Irene Ward as the MCA na Jubilee ticket. Ile kitu ningependa kusema ukiangalia Nyeri County ndio ilikuwa number 47 out of 47 because kulikuwa na vita ya GNU na TNA. Kwa hivyo na Kenya. Kwa hivyo ile kitu ningeomba kama ulianguka tafadhali na tulielewana kila mtu akiangushwa afunga vilago aende.
All right. Thank you very
Asante.
much.
Thank you
very much. Unfortunately, we are out of time. And tafadhali, we are out of time. So what I'm going to do, it is already 11. We have about just a minute to go. So 10 seconds to each one of you. Your final closing remarks. I'll begin with you, Patrick.
My final remarks are, let candidates look for votes without attacking each other. This is one Nyeri, this is one Kenya. The other issue is, remember Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He requires all these votes. Let us go out there and mobilize people to vote for him. My last and closing remarks are, I'm running for Nyeri County Governor under Democratic Party of Kenya ticket. We believe in umoja na haki. We are peace-loving. The fights that are there, I don't think are necessary. But we are offering the right kind of atmosphere to give Nyeri the required leadership.
Kanini Kega?
I would call on the supporters of His Excellency the President to make sure that they elect members of parliament, senators, governors, who are aligned to the party that belongs to the president. The president has also said categorically that his party is Jubilee. The deputy president has said the same. We might lose a lot of seats, and especially in Nairobi, because we have so many independent candidates from our side. We might split a lot of votes. We might not get members of parliament. Right now, we have the majority in Nairobi. We might have the minority in Nairobi, and also in terms of the MCAs. Secondly, why is it that majority of the independent candidates are from Mount Kenya? Yet, Jubilee conducted nominations in the entire of this country.
Right.
I don't understand why it is only in Mount Kenya that they decided to go independent. But for me, Jubilee nominations were free and fair, and as the msemo wa Kiswahili unasema, asiyekubali kushindwa sio mshindani.
Priscilla?
Thank you so much. I think at the end of this whole story, Wanjiku deserves leaders who care about the issues that Wanjiku cares about. Here in Nyeri, in Kieni, it is water. In Nyeri County here, it is our hospitals. In Nyeri Town, and there are issues that really, really matter to us. So my own plea to the people of Nyeri, whether in the party or independent, let us choose for ourselves the best leaders. That we owe it to ourselves. If they are in the party, well and good. If we have good leaders in Jubilee, well and good. If we have good leaders in independent, let us give every leader a chance so that we get the best leaders for Nyeri County from whichever side they come from. And let it not be said here that those who will be independent will not support the president. Those who will be independent will support the president. We had in this parliament 4 members of parliament who are independent. When Jubilee says it has 216 members, it is inclusive of the 4. That is why for me, I count myself as a Jubilee independent. The day I am elected, I will vote every day with Jubilee. I will vote every day with the president.
All right.
But I deserve a chance here in Nyeri, whether independent or whether in the party.
All right, Gevenji.
Maybe just quickly to answer the gentleman who asked me a question about what is happening with the democratic space. Article 85 of the Constitution allows independence for the purpose of expanding democratic space. If you're saying people are not allowed to run, then you're contracting the democratic space. When you have a country like ours which subscribes to democracy, then it is incumbent on us as the people to allow people to run, to present themselves to the public, and let the people decide. What happens in a situation, and this is also historical, party nominations is a very new phenomenon in Kenya. Before, we never used to have party nominations. Everybody used to go to the debe and let Wajiko decide. Party nominations have come, and now a new trend is forming that people are now running away from party nominations. And in fact, if you remember, when we were collapsing the parties to form Jubilee, we were told that we would have IEBC. And then it was not IEBC, then we were told smart card. Then no smart card, then we were told use your ID. Then we were told colored ballots, serialized and watermarked. And then the last date was photocopies. So it's been a law of diminishing return, not only in Jubilee, even in other parties.
Okay.
And all parties are now seeing that the nomination process is having challenges. The Constitution provides for IEBC to conduct party nominations.
All right.
If parties want to survive, they must allow that mechanism, as the Constitution provides, to take place, so that the blame is shifted away from the party and now goes to the arbiter of the election. Without that, then you will have a situation where independent candidates will front themselves to the public, and the public in their wisdom. And let me tell you, nobody can cheat Wanjiku.
The people will decide.
The people will decide.
All right. Finally, final word, Ngunjiri.
First and foremost, I want to explain why I joined Jubilee. The reason I joined Jubilee is because I listened to the message of the President and the Deputy President of Uniting Kenyans. I also listened to the message of the President where he said, Jubilee is about depersonalizing politics. That it's not about me as an individual. It's about the agendas and the policies that a party represents. So are you in that party because you believe in the policies and the agendas of that party? And I joined it. The reason we are moving to Jubilee is because we are moving away from where I can stand up and say, I want you to elect me as an individual. To where you are saying, I want you to elect this party because it has these policies. That's where we are going, and that's why I'm a member of Jubilee. However, the most important thing, and we've had an amazingly healthy debate as people of Nyeri, we have 496,000 votes in Nyeri County. Our responsibility, and as Jubilee, the 40 of us who are nominated, we have made it our responsibility that we will get each and every one of those 496,000 votes to His Excellency the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta on the 8th of August 2017. Right. Each and every single vote. And we believe that each and every single one of those votes will put a Jubilee member of parliament, a Jubilee MC, a Jubilee senator, a Jubilee governor to go and help the president.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, we cannot ask any more questions. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Choice 2017. Kanini Kega, Member of Parliament Kieni, also Ngunjiri Wambogo, who's going to be vying for Nyeri Town MP, Priscilla Nyokabi, Woman Rep Nyeri County, Patrick Cairo Munene, the Democratic Party gubernatorial aspirant, and Dongo Gevenji Tetu, Member of Parliament. And of course, it has been great having you all here as well. Our audience, asanteni sana kwa kutukaribisha Nyeri, kwa kuwa nasi pia jioni ya leo. Zubeida and the rest of the team from us, it has been a pleasure bringing you Choice 2017 live from Nyeri County. Wish you a blessed night, and may God bless Kenya.